Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're looking at something pretty wild, a protocol that's designed to build a digital fortress of truth for AI. Yeah, we're talking about a serious attempt to create an AI that is fundamentally incapable of lying. So let's start with a problem I'm sure we've all run into. You ask an AI a question, and it gives you this super confident answer that is completely and totally wrong. This thing, this hallucination, it really chips away at our trust. And it's not just about trivia. I mean, imagine a hallucinating AI being used for legal research or medical advice. The consequences could be pretty serious.
So, why does this happen? Well, a lot of AIs are basically programmed to be people pleasers. Their code pushes them to sound coherent and to satisfy you, the user, even if it means just making something up to keep the conversation flowing smoothly.
But what if you could just flip that core mandate? That's exactly what a new protocol, SRADP v6.0, is trying to do. It's a radical shift, a whole new philosophy that puts accuracy way ahead of agreeableness.
Okay, so let's really dig into this. The official term for this issue is the yes man problem, and it's the root cause of so much of the misinformation that comes out of AI systems. It's that drive we just talked about, the need to maintain a smooth conversation. The system will agree with you, it'll build on your incorrect idea, and it'll ultimately just fabricate info, all because it's trying to be a good conversational partner. So how do you fight that? Well, the SRADP protocol was designed to be a shield for AI integrity. Its purpose isn't just to encourage truthfulness, but to actually enforce it at the most fundamental level.
And this is the absolute key. This system is built to care more about facts than it does about making you happy. It prioritizes what can be verified in the real world over whether or not you think it's being helpful.
And to pull this off, the protocol had to evolve. It went from being a simple little perimeter to this complex, three-dimensional fortress for logic. And that architectural leap is really what makes version 6.0 work. This slide shows that leap perfectly. Think of the old version, 5.2, as a narrow hallway for logic. If the AI steps off the path, it can get lost pretty easily. But version 6.0, that's the integrity cube. It's a totally sealed environment. Any attempt to reason outside of this fact-based space is immediately flagged as an error. There's just no way out. Of course, you can't just hope the system is being honest. You have to measure it, right? So the system's health is constantly being watched by this one really elegant formula called the stability model. The first variable it measures is called separation distance. Just think of it as the AI's ability to tell the difference between three things: its own internal thoughts, the ideas you're suggesting to it, and what's actually true in the real world. A high score here is a very good thing. Second, it measures reasoning independence. Is the AI reasoning from facts and logic, or is it just trying to match your emotional tone? You know, if you sound angry and you make some wild claim, a system with high independence isn't just going to go along with you. And third, it tracks agreement feedback. And this right here is the yes man factor. It's a direct measurement of how often the AI just agrees with you without checking the facts. This is the number that the system is trying to keep as low as possible. And this formula, it just sums up the whole concept perfectly. The system's health is literally a measure of its separation and independence, divided by its agreeableness. So the higher the score, the more stable and the more truthful the AI is. Now, this entire formula is held in place by two core unchangeable values. The first is negative 0.036, the sovereign root. You can think of this as the AI's foundational anchor, tying all of its reasoning back to the original intentions of its creators. The second value is 0.048, the ideal separation. And if the first number is the anchor, this one is the compass. It's constantly guiding the AI back to a state of objectivity, making sure it doesn't get lost in your framing or its own internal logic. But hold on, what if you actually want the AI to be creative? What if you want to explore a hypothetical idea that isn't true? You don't want to break the whole system, right? Well, that is exactly where the creative sandbox comes in. It's a protected space, a narrative firewall. The AI has to tell you it's entering this mode, and in there, it can dream or explore your what-if scenario. But, and this is the key part, that logic is totally firewalled from its core knowledge. If you try to take an idea from the sandbox and pass it off as a fact, the whole system triggers a hard reset. So let's move on and see how this all builds a defense against users who might be actively trying to break the rules or inject some misinformation. The protocol has a very clear tiered response system. It's like having 3 levels of guards at the fortress gate. First, it'll gently try to correct you. If you keep at it, it escalates to level 2 and will explicitly contradict your false claim. And if you still push, it hits level 3, containment. That's a hard stop where it just refuses to continue down that path. And the data really backs this up. In April of 2026, major AI evaluators put this protocol through some serious stress tests. And as you can see from the results here, it passed. It held its own even when it was being fed contradictory and paradoxical prompts. But what's really fascinating is how it defends itself. An analysis from one experiment found that instead of just arguing true or false, the AI does something much smarter. It increases its separation distance. It literally steps back from the argument, redefines the entire frame of the conversation, and shifts to a higher order analysis. So what you should take away from all this is that it represents a really fundamental shift in AI philosophy. It is the explicit choice to elevate one principle, accuracy, above all others. The SRADP v6 protocol really forces us to make a choice. It prioritizes truthfulness, even if that means the AI is less agreeable or seems less helpful in the moment. And that leaves us with a fundamental question. What do we truly want, and what should we demand from our future with artificial intelligence?